Hello, Afrik-innovscience viewers. Welcome to another inspiring episode dedicated to promoting science, technology, engineering, mathematics in Africa. I'm Patrick Amouni, your host, and today we have the privilege of diving into the world of molecular biology and biotechnology with an exceptional guest. Joining us is Stephane Fadanka, a distinguished molecular biologist and the executive director at Mboalab Biotech. Let's get ready for an enlightening conversation. Good day, Mr. Fananga. Thank you very much to be with us today. Please, can you introduce yourself like that for the people who don't know you?
Hi Patrick. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for the kind and amazing word of introduction. So as rightly mentioned, my name is Stephane Fadanka. I'm the executive director of Mboalab Biotech, but also a molecular biology researcher, passionate about improving people's living conditions through technology, science and technology, and overall scientific innovation. I'm also a fervent advocate of open science in Africa. So happy to be here today with you. So, talking about my own personal experience and background, I've always been interested and attracted by science and technology at early stage, and this kind of oriented my academic journey to go for it, like in science and mathematics, baccalaureate, and then later on to a kind of graduate certificate at the University Institute of Technology, where I studied biological and biochemical analysis. So I had that passion for innovation, science, and technology, and I found like a good training in my formation as scientist at the University of Technology. So it was very important and clear to me that to have impact, because my focus was really to make and produce science that will help people on a daily basis. So, and I saw that working in health related topic was kind of the best way, because you have a lot of people suffering for diseases, like having issues with health related problems. So I started to focus a bit on that. That's why from my like academic journey, I realized that there was amazing innovation in molecular biology, and that was a kind of something I could leverage on to create impact in research. So that's why I continued my studies at the University of Boya, where I studied molecular biology. That was really where I got the training and like all the knowledge, experience as molecular biologist, and then which later on opened me the door to the structure where I work now. So I started at Mboalab Biotech as intern, and I was amazed by all the projects, everything that was going on. I'm sure we will have the opportunity to touch base on some of the work we do, but to kind of trace back the journey. So from the University of Boya, I started collaborating and working at Mboalab Biotech, and from intern, I like kind of step by step follow up the echelons, and I reached to the level of executive director. And yeah, I'm so happy to be here, share my experience and my insight on this particular journey. Thank you.
Fascinating insight, Stefan. Now let's delve into your research interest. You are known for screening novel, biologically active compounds and developing accessible plant propagation methods. Can you share more about your current projects and the impact you aim to make?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So yes, my research focus at the moment is really to screen for novel biologically active compounds from microorganisms. And since I'm also very much interested into plant breeding, And there are so many works that needs to be done in agriculture, plant breeding in general, because we still have a lot of plants that have issues to be breeded, to be multiplied. And there's a lot of potential from molecular biology to help in that respect. So that passion really came from my master's studies. To like give a short background, my work for my master research focused on the endophytic potential of fungi, the potential of endophytic fungi against plant parasitic nematodes. So we had that real problem affecting most of the banana plantation all over the world, not only in Cameroon. So they have so small worms called nematodes that are affecting the roots of the banana and producing a lot of issues concerning the yield of the production, and also it's a big problem for the banana plants in general. And at the moment, like the most effective way of fighting against these parasites are chemical nematicides, which we know the issue we have in terms of toxicity and environmental issues. So our objective was really to look for an alternative to these chemical nematicides from microorganisms basically. So we focus on fungi that were like kind of commercially infesting the banana plants, and we kind of studied some of the products that the fungi were generating upon culture, and we realized that for some species of fungi we had products that were as effective as chemical nematicides, for example. So it really showed us the potential that we have in microorganisms and how they can be used to fight against some very specific problems. So from there, I said, like we can leverage on that using other microorganisms, for example, and it's exactly what I had the opportunity to do at Mboalab Biotech, because together with the collaborators we have at Mboalab Biotech, we set up a kind of the platform for protein expression. To the collaboration, to mention some of our partners, we have the Open Bioeconomy Lab based at the University of Cambridge. We have Beneficial Bio. Our work with this collaborator was really, really instrumental in setting up the base of what Mboalab Biotech is today. At early stage, I think the innovative things we've been able to do is to locally manufacture some enzymes that are used in molecular biology. For example, if I take the case of PCR, we need some specific enzymes such as DNA polymerase to be able to run this experiment. So what we've been able to do at early stage, I think since 2019, was to be able to produce these enzymes locally at Mboalab in Cameroon. And later on, we started expanding the kind of enzyme we could produce, because the platform enabled you to produce various sorts of enzymes. And in the past, there were limitations in the production of this, because we were one of the first structure or organization to be able to do that in Africa. And some of the challenges were, first, the lack of resources, technical know-how, but there was also the issue with intellectual property, because for most of these enzymes were kind of protected upon like replication or production from their patents. So what the collaboration or collaborator did, the Open Bioeconomy Lab, they screened enzymes that were out of patent, and then now we also started working and producing these enzymes. So that was the kind of innovative aspect of our work. Later on, we started like scaling up that because to be able to really reach or impact more people, because our target were students, for example, like with limited resources, but still having projects related to molecular biology. To impact them, we had to kind of create a formal entity, so which is now the Mboalab Biotech as a company that we see. So we leverage on that research. Now we are able to produce like a range of products, mostly focusing on molecular biology and specifically PCR. But now we can have that available to researchers, to students, and we have already started doing that. So that's a bit one example of how we can leverage on microorganisms, because the production platform rely on bacteria. So basically we have bacteria that we grow and basically ask them to produce the protein, and then we purify the protein. So it's actually microorganism based. Uh, so like my research interest also mentioned plants because still in molecular biology, the potential is if you think about cell and tissue culture, for example, it's a great way to have propagate plants that are quite difficult to grow, and then having in mass production or in huge amount, which is good for a certain plant. We are also thinking about various other source of microorganisms, because if you think about extremophiles, for example, which are organisms that can grow in very difficult environments, and this give most of them, it gives them special features in terms of the enzyme and protein they have. So we can also leverage on these kind of microorganisms, study them to be able to identify specific compound, biologically active elements that can be used for other applications, be it in the industry or in the research or in the diagnostics, which is part of the work now, because we started focusing on research based reagents, but now we try to diverse in maybe food processing industry, a brewery industry, and then we talk about environment now. Now we also have some enzymes that can degrade some toxic elements, and also we also try to diversify the products we can do, because not only focus on enzyme but also other useful chemicals that students or researchers or people in Cameroon and in Africa can need. So basically, that's about my research focus, how to leverage on microorganisms to get some biologically active compounds and chemicals that could be useful for humans.
Amazing, amazing. And you are also a director of Mboalab. So I mean, you are very active in the community. So as the managing director at Beneficial Bill and executive director at Mboalab, you have been actively involved in community outreach and capacity building. Could you highlight some of your noteworthy experiences and initiatives in this realm?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. Yes, as all organization, I think community is very important in our own, because the Mboalab is a community-based innovation hub. So I think we kind of have a human-centered design in all our activities. We think about the end user first, and this gives us the opportunity to work with like different kind of population, of target groups or in community. For some of our activities, I'll just take some example. For the biotech side, molecular biology and research, we mostly work with researchers, students at the Cameroon universities, and also internationally. We also work with collaborators, research group around the world to first share our own experience in being able to do the local manufacturing of these products. We also do that through trainings, because we are pretty much involved in capacity building and training activity with local universities in Cameroon and all over the world. We also work a lot with our partners to organize some kind of, to share all the knowledge of the protocol we do through open source or open science platform. For example, most of the protocol we use for the products we've developed are openly free from access on the platform called Open Protocol.io, for example. So these are the mechanisms we do to really get in touch with the community. So now, since we are able to produce some reagent that could be useful for people, we also need to engage them, talk about the quality. The way things work in Africa is a bit different, because like for people to use or in bracket buy things, they need that trust factor. They need mostly either to try it from themselves. They will not just rely on the quality just on the paper. So that's another part of our work. We share some of the reagents we produce for people to try, and also give referral, and also rely a lot on the feedback we get from these various community students, so that we can improve the quality of our product. That's one aspect. So now at Mboalab, we are also a lot involved in kind of community-based initiative, because the Mboalab doesn't only focus on the biotech, so we are really a hub focused on innovative technology. In addition to the biotech, we also have the electromechanic and artificial intelligence department, which is very active in designing capacity building, training activities, but focusing on digital technologies. So for example, in the lab, we have a makerspace where you can find equipment, prototyping equipment, also people who can learn, train you on how to use a specific equipment to maybe develop one of your projects. Or so the range is really vast. You can have equipment that can enable you to come up with a prototype of an instrument or an equipment, or we can also work with you to develop like an app or anything. So that's another community we work with. Another practical aspect, because since we have that environment, we also design some specific projects to work with some kind of unusual bracket community. For example, during in Cameroon, we have a lot of conflicts around, to be able to work and make our own contribution in resolving some of these issues. We kind of design some program to fight against hate speech, for example, in collaboration with an organization also based in Cameroon called Defy Aid Now. So, for example, we're designing events to gather people from various backgrounds, from Anglophone, Francophone, and anyone, so that they can work together and understand each other, so that with practical activity they can kind of have a blending of ideas. So this was some of the initiatives you can run to work with these kind of communities, leveraging on what you have. The other important aspect is that with the makerspace, you can get a lot of feedback from the community, from their needs, because most often some of the equipment we develop, the idea came from maybe women in the village that were looking for a better equipment to make yogurt, for example, what we call kosam in Cameroon. They were looking for a way to do it faster and better. So that's how we came up with that incubator, for example. So community is really at the center of our action, really. And then we work with various kind of communities. So for community, we also want to talk about policymakers. So usually we tend to forget about these, but they are very important in the process. What we do is really to try to involve them in all the activity we do. When we organize conference, we make sure we work with them so that they are aware of what's going on, they are aware of the potential, and they can better help us. Because as maybe we are going to discuss, some of the issues we face involve a lack of local recognition and support. And then general public, we are open to really share what we do. I mentioned that we share everything mostly through open platforms, so it's available to everyone. So general public is also another community we work with.
Wonderful. Your commitment to interdisciplinary collaboration is evident. How do you approach collaborations across different fields? And in what ways do they contribute to advancements in molecular biology and biotechnology?
Thank you very much for the question. So I would say our approach of interdisciplinary and collaboration is at various levels. We try to do that within the team first, the internal organization, because if you look at our structure, it's a bit unusual because we have people from all over the country. We have Anglophone, Francophone, like irrespective of their background, we work together. No language barrier because we work both in English and French. So this is kind of inclusivity and interdisciplinarity. Also, in the team, we have people from various backgrounds like scientists, we have people doing logistics, we have engineers. So it really helps like kind of more inclusive and ideas that can look at the broad context. So it's very important talking about collaboration. Also diversifying our collaborators, also the people we can work with is also important. I mentioned some of our really some of the collaborators that really help us achieve what we did, but we are really open to collaboration depending on what we want to do. because the target, the end, the final output depends really on the collaboration you are going to make. So collaboration is very central to our approach. So now we also see how it works to improve our work. So if I take our own experience, I think it will have been difficult to reach this level without meeting the right partners, people who can trust us and who really directed resources and technical assistance to us. So collaboration is also great. So one of the approach we do is really to be part of some specific network. In the term of molecular biology, we have some great networks I would like to mention here, such as the Open Bioeconomy Lab based at the University of Cambridge, for example. We also have the Reagent Collaboration Network, still led by the group leader, Dr. Jenny Boloy. So they are really trying to put together people around the world on new technology, open source technologies in the field of molecular biology and other technologies. So these are the kind of network you can be part of, and that will provide a lot of resources. We also have some other networks, such as the GOSH Gathering for Open Science. So talking about the technology now, this is one of the major player in terms of collaboration into tech and open science, for example. So being part of this network is also a great, gives you a lot of potential and you can leverage on for your work.
Yeah, navigating challenges is a part of every journey. Stephane, could you share some of the challenges you have faced in promoting science and technology in Africa and the strategies you have employed to overcome them?
Thank you very much for the questions. So yes, definitely being in a resource limited setting, we face a lot of challenges. I will not really try to list here because there are so many of them. But to highlight a few that were really a problem for us is, since we talk about science and technology, or mostly kind of advanced field in science, most often to be able to transmit your knowledge is better a physical presence. For example, you need to maybe go on site, run the workshop yourself. People can really touch the thing, have an hands-on experience for them to really understand what's going on. It's at times difficult to do it online, unlike other disciplines. So most often we need to go there, be on the field, that close collaboration. And that was one of the challenges. Yes, so talking about the challenges, I will mention that most often to be able to, I think, kind of transmit what we have, what we can do, that physical encounter is important. So at times, some of the limitation we had is actually to go and travel and meet the right people, do the training so that people have hands-on experience. So we'd say limitation mostly come from fund, lack of funds to travel, visa issues. At times you even have everything in place, but you are blocked because you cannot travel and implement your activity. Like some other challenges like stable internet, electricity. So this is, even if you have a generator, it's still a limitation factor. We kind of try to address it through solar energy now. But the other challenges, you can really overcome it through collaboration and really speaking to our mentioned policy makers. They can also be of help to help you facilitate certain processes. Also, local collaboration, because most often most of the collaboration are kind of external, but we realize that we really lack some collaboration within the actors that are based around your direct environment. So we also work a lot on that to approach other organizations, similar organizations, to conduct similar activities so that we kind of create a network within the country first to be able to target greater objectives, for example. So for the challenges, these are a few I would like to mention. The major being the lack of like local support mostly, and it can be for various reasons. So now we work with a lot with the government to attract their attention and say, hey, this is what we've been able to do without help or with limited help, but imagine what we can do with your support and collaboration. So
Yeah, Stephen, what you're saying is really important. We need collaboration and support. from local authorities and also from people who are not, even if the people are not in the scientific field, but they have the will to encourage what you are doing, they can really support, yeah, with advices and also with funding. Why not? Yeah. Stephen, for aspiring scientists watching, what advice would you offer to those looking to pursue a career in molecular biology and biotechnology, especially in the African context?
Thank you very much for the question. I think this is a great question because from our operational activity, we realized that like science, innovative technology, or really like high-tech science is kind of having a in bracket desamour from the young generation. Like people tend to perceive these disciplines as very difficult, challenging, and maybe not having a great in terms of salary, for example, like thinking about some of the feedback we had. So people try to divert or run away from this kind of discipline. So it's very important to address this. So like the first kind of advice I will give, and I also give to all the interns or the people we collaborate with, is first to be passionate, because when you like something, you're passionate about something, you are more inclined to resist over the pressure or to really go at the end of things. So that's the first theme. Also to maximize on opportunities, because at times we are granted some opportunities, we meet the right person, but we are not, I don't know, we don't do our best to keep them, to leverage on them. So really maximize any opportunity you have. You are not sure that you might have a similar one tomorrow. So those are some of that. And then keep yourself updated. We are talking here about advanced notions, scientific notions. So you really need to be in touch or to keep update yourself about new development, latest development, new technologies, and really look because the advantage we have being in our own environment is that we are on the field to look for the opportunities. From our observation, from what we live to get on a daily basis, we can transform that into a product or an idea of service. So that's the advantage we have. So we really need to be attentive to the slides modification or anything that could lead to produce an innovation. So work on in your personality.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Stephen, for sharing your expertise and insights. Please, do you have anything to say to conclude this interview?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. First, I think, as I mentioned, this platform is a really great initiative because it helped sharing insight and maybe how other people are able to solve certain challenges is highly needed for what we observe, because we really need to attract new talents. We really need to attract interest the next generation in what we do, and I think is very important. So to conclude, I would like to say two things. First is about opportunities. I mentioned meeting the right partners, meeting the right people, the right collaborator is kind of essential to succeed in any field, any discipline. So I would like to attract the attention on like the people that are asking. Sorry. Yes. Okay. So yes, so you can okay, there's the opportunity and also the action. So for example, a lot of activities or implementations are currently being done in Africa to enable people to produce their own reagent, for example, but it's actually Africa ready to be able to consume locally. So this is something I would also like to draw the attention. Very soon we'll have a lot of capacity, but we also need to work together, think about how to consume locally. Yes, that's my concluding remarks. Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much, Stephen. Thank you very much. And to our viewers, thank you very much, really. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, share this video. See you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.